Hi everyone, I am Christine Jossi of Mail Something Pretty, and I wanted to show you these really cool boxes. These boxes I saw online from the Paper Pixie, and so I copied her boxes with different colors and different tops, but I love them, so I wanted to show you how to make them. And this actually was a club project, so I'm showing you how to put them together. Isn't this so cool? So it opens like that. It's called a double diagonal box. I think that's what it's called. Double flip box, excuse me. At least that's what she called it. And there's a magnet inside, so they close nice and shut. So they are the right size if you wanted to do like a 3x3 little note cards. The envelopes and the 3x3 cards fit nicely inside. And a whole bunch of them. Look at that's just 2, so you can fit a whole bunch of them inside. I think like 10 or so. Or if you want to put candy inside, this is leftover Valentine candy, but it's almost Easter. So I was thinking Easter boxes, and that's why I chose the tulip paper. So let's get to it. Let me show you how to put them together. They're fun. All right, so I'm gonna make a purple box. I'm using Highland Heather and Fresh Freesia. My paper trimmer. And when I make boxes, I make templates. So I have my templates here that I'll put up for a couple times so you can copy down the measurements. And then I also make like I was gonna call it like a dummy box, but like just a old paper that doesn't match, just so I know how it comes together, because I might put it away. So I have like a box of my 3D projects, and if I want to make it again, everything's here. I don't have to kind of recreate it. And so that's what I did here. So we're going to start cutting. I'm going to start cutting the bottom, kind of the bottom of the box, this part. And that is 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. So it's a square piece. And I'm going to make that my darker purple. So let me actually put that here so you can kind of see, hopefully. So 7 1/4. And on my trimmer, my darker piece here is my cutting, and my lighter one is my scoring. This is the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer that I really like, and I use it. I don't even really use my guillotine cutter anymore. Pretty much just use this one. All right, so that is 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. I'll probably use that for something else, so I'll put that aside. I'm going to score at 1 and 2 inches on all 4 sides. So you can either, if you have a scoreboard out, you can do it that way, or you can just score it right here on the trimmer, which is what I'm going to do. For club, your pieces are already scored for you. So you can just hang tight for a second until we get to the cutting directions. Sorry if you can hear noise outside. I have garbage, recycling trucks. There's electric trucks out in front of my house. I'm hoping you don't hear them. Now we're hearing the beeps, but now is the time for me to film. So, all right. So those is all scored. I'll put that aside for a second. And then, sorry about that, live TV in a way. So this is the top of the box, the part that flips. So that is 5 7/16 by 9 13/16. I don't usually work in 16th inches. Sometimes I work in 1/8, but that's how this was designed, and I didn't want to redesign it. So we're going with her measurements. So I'm going to go 9. Now the 16ths are all the individual marks. Sometimes the 1/8, it's like every other. I could count over to 13, or I could use a little math. My daughter's a math major. I know that 16/16 is 1 inch. So 13/16, I'm just going to go over to the 10 and subtract 3. So there's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it's just that tiny little mark. And and by 5 7/16. So again, I could count over 7 little marks, or I know that 8/16 is a 1/2 inch, so I could go over to 5 1/2 and subtract 1. Whichever works for you. So you might say, I don't like 16ths, forget it. All right, so on this one, I'm going to score. So on the short side, I'll be honest, I get mixed up when I see short side and long side. Does it mean like the short is the short part or the long is the long? So I wrote both, short side and portrait. I find that a little easier for me to know. I know portrait is in this direction. So I'm going to do 1 1/16. So that one's easy. It's just 1 and then just 1 mark over. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to flip it 180 and just go that first mark after an inch and score it that way. I'm going to turn it to the long side or the landscape side, and I'm going to go 2 3/16. So 2, and then I'm just going to count over 3. 1, 2, 3 little marks, and 3 1/4. And I'm going to flip that 180 and do the same thing. So 2 and 1, 2, 3, and 3 1/4. We have high praises for designing this box. I only copied it. Some things I design, a lot of things I design on my own, but some things I just copy. All right, so as I get my scissors out, I'm just going to leave those out for you if you want to take a screenshot of them or write them down. I'm going to first cut this one. So I'm just going to move this for a second. You can always rewind. I suppose you don't really call it rewind anymore, right? I don't know, go back. So I'm going to cut, each corner is going to be cut the same, right? Because it's a square. So I'm going to cut this piece off first. So there's, actually, I'm going to score first. Not score, I'm going to fold first. Makes it a little easier for me to see if I fold it. And I can go back later with my bone folder if I want. So I'm just kind of doing a rough fold, but it makes me be able to see things a little easier. All right, so I'm going to cut these 2 squares off. So these 2 squares are coming off. Like that, okay? And I'm going to cut these 2, so I'm going to flip it. So I want to mirror image it. I'm going to cut these 2 off. All right, so those 2 cut off, and then I'll flip it this way. And I'm going to cut these 2 off. And I'm going to flip it this way so it's a mirror image. All right, so if you can see, these were all cut off. And next, so I'm going to make it like a step. So I'm going to cut just this 1 square off. Like that. So here's my little step. I'll flip it this way to do that mirror image. We'll rotate it all the way around and do the same thing. Cut this square off. Flip it and cut this square off. So we're almost done with this piece. So now I'm going to just make a slit. So this one lifts up, and then I'm going to notch both sides of that. Okay, and I'm going to do that for the same, all 4 corners. So I'm going to make a slit, and then you can even move it out of your way and make a notch. Okay, so I have those 2. So then I'm going to spin it. The same thing, make a slit just up to that score line, make a notch, rotate, and notch. And we're almost done. All right, so lastly, so we have these 4 longer pieces, we're just going to notch each of those like that. I'm just going to do all 4 of them. It just makes it easier when we fold it together. All right, like that. So that's all the cutting. So now it looks like that. Okay, so before I put this away or aside to cut the other one, I'm actually going to put some tear and tape down. A lot of times I use glue, use glue for my projects, but you'll see it actually makes it a little easier. But I'm going to put tear and tape on both sides of that long top piece because I noticed some of my flaps were coming up. I'll show you in a second. I have a horrible cut, so I can't really tear it. Again, I can use glue too, and I'll show you when we get there, but I just find it easy to put the tear and tape on now on these pieces before we assemble. And if you don't have a tear and tape, you can use a strong adhesive. Again, you can use glue, and I'll show you when we get to that point of putting it together when to put the glue on. Or if you have the fast fuse, that's strong. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. We're going to cut the next piece. Put that out here like that. All right, so we're going to actually work on this part first. Oh, actually, I guess I'm going to fold again. Make it a little easier to see. All right, so we have these longer rectangle boxes. I'm going to work in there first. So I'm going to slit, it's like the 2 inner score lines like that. Okay, so I just slit those 2. I'm actually going to fold that back, and I'm going to cut this whole piece off. So it looks like that. I'm going to rotate 180 and do the exact same thing on the other side. Make a slit. Slit. I'm going to fold this under. Again, it just kind of gets it out of the way. Make it easier to cut. So it looks like that right now. So now I'm going to make a slit right here. So I'm going to just make a slit. So right here, and then I'm going to notch. You want to even move it out of the way. I'm going to make 2 notches. Like that. And I'm going to do that for all 4. So I'm going to just flip it this way just because I'm a righty, it makes it a little easier. Notch. And then I'm going to go this way. I've discovered this was, I will give credit to Julie at the Paper Pixie for cutting this way. In prior projects I've just put that down and say okay, cut, and it gets a little mixed up, so this was actually enlightening to me to teach it this way, and other cutting projects will be that way too. All right, so we have that, we're almost done. So now we're going to go from this corner up to that fold mark right here. We're just going to cut, just going to eyeball it. So here over to that score line. And we're going to do that all 4 corners, and then we're done cutting. Rotate and flip. Okay, get those out of the way. So that looks like that. Excellent. And then so now we have our 2 pieces. And so before we assemble the box, I'm going to put on my designer paper. I want them in the same direction. I'm going to put them on before I glue it together. I just find it a little bit easier. This measurement I slightly changed from Julie's. where is it? My designer series paper, I did 1 7/8 by 2 inches. Now just pay attention, like this is a directional piece, right? Because I want it to be up this way. So just have it so it's a portrait position for your direction. If it was all, you know, symmetrical, it wouldn't matter. So I'm just going to use glue. There we go. That's going to go there. And this is from, oh, what is it called? It's that tulip paper, the tulip and windmill kind of paper. I forget. It's in the January through June 2022 catalog. It's beautiful. It's all different tulips. All right. So there we go. All right. So we'll put this one together, this piece first, since I have it. So I'm going to flip it over this way. And these little tabs is what we're going to put glue on. And we're just going to put a little glue here, and it's just going to go like that. And then we'll do the opposite side too. For this, I do like to use this multi-purpose liquid glue. I find that it gives you a few seconds if you need to move something around. Hold it. I'm going to make sure, oops, that my two edges are together. Yep. And it gives you a minute to move things around, but then it sticks pretty good or quickly, and it's strong. So I really like this for boxes. Actually, I end up using it for everything. All my cards too. Hold it down. I could even use the bottom of the glue to give it a little pressure. Oops. All right, so I'm going to do this side. And it's going to look weird because it's not your typical box top shape, but it's what it's supposed to look like. And then I'll do this last piece. Sometimes doing things on camera is a little trickier than just doing it regular. Okay. All right. Oop. Let's slide a little bit. There we go. Okay. So it looks like that. Or that. So I'm just going to set that aside to dry for a minute. And I'm going to put this piece together. So we have these tabs, and we're going to also put glue on these tabs. So I'm going to put glue on these tabs, and then we're going to glue it to this piece. What I'm going to do is fold these out. I think it's going to be easier to work with. Okay, so these tabs are going to go to this wall here on all four sides. The box is worth it. It's so cute. And with the magnets, it's like reusable. So that's one piece, or one corner, second corner, I think they're all done working outside. It's quiet. Again, sorry if you heard all that noise. I don't know if you did or not. I don't know what they're doing, but there were three electric trucks in front of my house. All right, so then this box is going to look like that. So if you did not use the tear and tape, this is where you would put the glue down and then you just fold it down. If you use the tear and tape, you're going to peel these guys off. and fold it down. I'm going to do opposite corners first. Again, I can show you. I tried to press down. Let's see. Those ones aren't lifting too much, but some of them, see how there was lifting? I think I needed stronger. That's why I did 2 layers. This will be much stronger. I have a nice crisp bottom of a box. Okay. And then it's pretty because you can't see all the inner workings of what got it stuck together. All right, so now we're going to put some glue on the bottom of the box. We're going to stick it on here. And that 1/16 of an inch that we used is going to give it just enough. It's just this opening is slightly bigger than the 3x3 opening that's here. Oop. All right, so I actually didn't mean to put the glue quite so close to the edge. So I'm going to put that down. It's going to give me a minute to make sure. Oop. You want to make sure that it closes, that it's in the right spot before I really press it down. Oh, and I'm squeezing my glue. I should have put my cover on. That's what these mats are for. Let's get all that glue off. Put the cover on. All right, so then this closes and this closes. It can close in either direction. You can close it this way, or you can close it that way. Doesn't matter. Mine has a little buckle there. I was just trying to, has a little fold. Okay. So for the top label, I pulled out old Easter stamp sets that I had. I did a cute little sheep, or if you wanted it, the happy hello to you, so then it can just be, you know, a spring box, or I'll just show you because I have that stamp set here. That's from the Sunny Sentiments. Maybe I'll do an Easter box. Maybe I'll give this one to my mom. All right, so I used those layering circles. So I'm gonna glue this on here because I want it to be strong, because this is gonna be like the lifting handle. So I'm only gonna glue half of it. My mom likes, actually so do I, black jelly beans. So I think I might fill this with some black jelly beans for her for Easter. All right, so I'm gonna put that on there. Look centered. And just press it and make sure it has a good, sometimes that glue slides. So make sure it's on there, the right spot. All right, and so you could use Velcro. You could use a belly band and then just slide it off that way. But again, she used, I'm just looking for them, these cool magnets that I've never used before. It's from a company called, I wrote it on here, TotalElement.com. And the size of them are 1/4 by 1 1/32. And so you can kind of see the size of them. They're cool. And we need glue dots for them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna guess, so I'm probably about a 1/2 inch over on this edge. So I'm gonna put a glue dot. And you have, Club, I gave you the magnets. So I put a glue dot there, and then they're like super thin. That's the 32nd part. Oh, let's see if I can get them out of here. They are, the first time I did it, I actually took 2 at once. So they're thinner than a dime, okay? So I'm gonna put that right on top of the glue dot, just like that. Hopefully you can see. And it's stuck on there pretty good. This is the cool part, I think. So I'm going to close this piece. I'm just going to drop it, and it magnets, they find each other, and so it's going to be covered. So I'm going to put another glue dot on top. Of that. I'm going to close it. A little press. So this is probably like the hardest part, is just to kind of get it off. Oh, good. And then just squeeze. Get that a good squeeze. And then, so it just closes nice. It sounds nice. So there is your box. So let me, just for one more second, I'll put the measurements out here for you. In case, again, you want to take a screenshot of it. I wrote it in black marker, so hopefully you can see. My little squiggles are for the tear and tape. And I will get all my samples out so you can see the different ones. I'll leave that there for 1 sec. In the meantime, if you don't receive my weekly emails, please sign up for my mailing list at mailsomethingpretty.com/sign up, or just visit my blog at mailsomethingpretty.com, and there's a sign up box right on the right side. You will get a free tutorial on the easiest shaker card ever, and it truly is the easiest shaker card ever. You'll get that tutorial sent straight to you as a thank you gift. And then if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do that. Just click subscribe. It should be I think it's a red button right there, and then you'll be notified whenever I upload videos. I try to do them once a week. Sometimes it's a couple week with a week off, but they average out to about one a week. And I love and encourage comments and questions, and so in suggestions, so I know what else to show you. Okay, that should have been long enough for you to write that down. And so, and I did some, different sayings. You can have, if you have different dies, you can do different shapes and all that stuff. But these are my boxes. So thank you again for watching. I know this was kind of a longer one, but I just think the boxes are worth it. I just think they're really cute. All right. Have a wonderful spring day. Bye-bye.